Namaste, welcome. You've reached Lynn with Yoga Me Fit. Thank you for joining me for class today. I'm actually doing a class today on releasing tension through the neck and shoulders. As the world becomes more stressful, it's just a way for us to really deepen our connection and provide more self-care for ourselves. So if you're having a lot of tension, a lot of tightness through your neck and shoulders, this is the class for you. We're going to be seated through the class, so I want you to find something that's comfortable for you. So a few postures I can show you is, one is Virasana, which is hero's pose on the bolster. You can just straddle the bolster and then bring the shins and the feet in toward the outside of the bolster and then lift up and be comfortable seated here. Another variation, if you're wanting to sit onto the floor, is with your blocks. One block will give you some height, because full Virasana, you know, is when you're seated between the heels all the way onto the floor, but one block may be enough that feels comfortable. Or if you're feeling like, nah, I'm feeling that in my knees, or maybe you're some stiffness in your ankles, maybe you want two blocks. And that will get you up a little higher to take any stress out of the ankles and the knees. But yet you're still working on opening them in this posture. If this is just not working for you at all, we have the chair. So you can come up and you can come seated at the edge of the chair. You're going to want to be able to press into your feet, create a nice right angle with your legs, and then create a good posture and lift out of the lower back. So you don't want to be slumping or dumping back into the back of the chair. You want to feel like you're trying to lift up out of your seat. So find whichever variation of the seated posture that you want to use for your shoulder opening practice today. Once you come into your comfortable seated posture, find your sits bones and sit tall. You also, I want to mention, make sure you have a strap handy, because we are going to be using the strap in this class today. Once you come into that seated posture, I want you to find neutral spine and pelvis. So if you tend to dump more forward and create more banana back, you're just going to lift the pubic bone toward the navel like you're zipping your zipper, and feel this length in your lower back. If you have a lot of stiffness, you may tend to round and dump into the lower back. This is where sitting up high, up on something higher, even that second block, maybe you don't have tension in your knees and ankles, but you just need that height to get that space in your lumbar curve. So I want you to find the best general form of the pose that you can create. Let your palms rest face down onto your thighs. Lengthen through the spine. We're going to start just with yoking the breath with the movements, and we'll start at the neck. You're going to bring your shoulders back and down. Find your focal point or your drishti in front of you. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly bring the chin in toward the notch of your throat. Make sure that you're not hunching your shoulders up around your ears. Inhale, center. As you exhale, use your chin to trace the collarbone as you reach as far toward the head of the arm bone as you can. Inhale, slowly trace the chin along the collarbone back to the notch of the throat, and then exhale, slowly move to the left side. Inhale, trace it back down. So moving slow and control, making these little half circles. You might even feel some crunchy or cracking going on in the neck. And then use your inhale to come back through to center. And then exhale, take it to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take it to the right. This time hold, and let's add a little bit more stretch to it. You're just going to take your left arm and reach it out and down like you're reaching toward something you're trying to reach to. And then you should feel a nice stretch from here, from the back of behind the ear where that mastoid bone is, all the way down through the neck, maybe out through the shoulder, and maybe down through the arm, just depending on where your lines of tension and tightness are. Inhale, return the palm to the thigh, the chin back down toward the chest. And as you exhale, sweep it over to the left side. Once you feel you've gone as far as you can with the stretch, then extend that right arm out, reach it down and out to deepen that lengthening and stretch through that right side. So same thing. Right behind the back of the ear where that bone is, you may feel it anywhere from there out through the neck, shoulder, and arm. Inhale, come back through to center. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lift the head up. Exhale, release the shoulders down. Take your strap now. You're going to open it up. And you're going to pull it tight and taut. And you're going to keep this tension on your strap. I want you to be conscious that once we start to move the arms, that you're not rocking and bowing through your spine. I want you to find the center of your sits bones, which should help you find neutral pelvis here. And then you're going to lift the ribs up away from the hip bones and draw the shoulders back. And I want you to just maintain this alignment to where we're holding the posture and moving the limbs. And that's the only thing that's moving is the arms and the shoulders. Find your drishti or your focal point. You're going to inhale, take the strap up, keep the arms long. As you exhale, start to go back. Now, if you're feeling like I'm stuck, I can't go anymore, then maybe slide your hands out a little further and see if you can go a little bit deeper into it. If you find where this is it, I can't go any further, that's okay. Stay where you are. Use your inhale to bring you back to center. As you exhale, slowly lower back down. So you want to make sure when you stretched your arms out, maybe when you came back, you couldn't clear the top of your head. So you have to choke in just enough on the strap to where you can at least just skim across the top of the head. And then if that limits you going back, then that's where you are. Okay, so find what you feel is a good width through the arms, and then inhale, take it up. Exhale, open out. Now there should not be any catches in your shoulder. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower back toward the thighs. What I mean by that is you shouldn't feel like you caught your shoulder or the elbow. It should be smooth. Inhale, stretch it up. Exhale, open. Be conscious that when you start to lift the arm bones, you're not lifting your shoulders towards your ears. They're staying away from the ears. Or when you start to go back with the arms, you're not pushing your belly or ribs forward. So stay very stable through the body. And the only thing that you can feel moving is through the shoulder girdle and the arms. So you're just finding where your range is. Let's do one more. Your inhale lifts you. Your exhale opens you. And then when you've completed this last one, just pause for a moment. Do a couple of shoulder rolls back. And then pull the arms forward, pull the strap taut. Inhale, stretch it up. Keep it up overhead, and as you exhale, pull down with the right arm to move into lateral flexion. Keep your left hip and sits bone strongly rooted. Now, if you want to add a little more to this, you can start to rotate the belly, the ribs, the chest, the throat, and the gaze more upward. This is a little deeper sensation. Or if that's too much on your neck, just bring the head back neutral, but just be mindful you're not dumping your neck or dropping your neck. You're still trying to lengthen through all four sides of the neck. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, pull down with the left. Feel the stretch. Move from the right side body up through that right shoulder and arm bone. If this is enough, stay here. If you feel you want to deepen the sensation, start to revolve the rib cage, the chest, the throat, and the gaze upward toward that right hand. You should not go any deeper than you can keep that right sits bone and buttock rooted. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, move back to the right. Inhale, move back to center. Exhale, move to the left. So you should feel like you're expanding and stretching, not only through the side body and the shoulder and the arm, but also between those rib bones, those intercostal muscles of those lower ribs. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, back to the right. Even stretching through those finger-like muscles, the serratus anterior muscles that cover each of your rib bones. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, slowly lower all the way down. Slowly release your strap. Take a few shoulder rolls back now. And then find neutral again. Find your focal point. Inhale, stretch your arms forward. As you exhale, open the right side and stretch the right arm back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Hold the twist. Stay strongly grounded through your sits bones. Draw your left palm to the right top of the arm bone. Spin your right thumb down, bend the elbow, come around. See if you can catch the back of the hip or maybe the front of the hip. And you can kind of use this to help draw that left hip back to square the pelvis. Inhale, lift through the spine, lift that left elbow up in line, and then exhale, deepen that twist. So as you're twisting from the belly, the ribs, the chest, the neck, even cut your eyes to the far right corners to get a nice stretch all the way up into your eyeballs. Inhale, keep the twist, but re-extend the arms long. Exhale, move back to center. Inhale, exhale, open to the left, stretch. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lengthen, deepen, and find more strength. Exhale, bring the right palm to the left head of the arm bone. Inhale, spin the left thumb down, bend the elbow, reach back. Catch the front of that right hip or the back, wherever you can reach. And then work on trying to draw the hips back toward the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen, lift that right elbow in line. Exhale, deepen. As you start to deepen that rotation, really work on trying to feel the balance through your sits bones here. And then cut your eyes to the far left now, stretching through those nerve endings so you actually feel the twist from the belly, the ribs, the chest, the shoulders, the neck, and the eyeballs. Inhale, stretch the arms back out, reach. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, open to the right. Exhale, reach. Inhale, left hand to right arm bone. Exhale, spin the right palm, thumb down, bend the elbow, catch the front of the left hip or anywhere you can. Inhale, stretch up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, deepen that spinal twist here. So feel as the right side of the rib cage moves back, the left side moves around. Feel it deep in the belly, the ribs, the chest, the shoulders, the neck, and then cut those eyes to the far right side. Inhale, extend through the arm bones, reach. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, open to the left. Exhale, stretch and lengthen. Inhale, right palm, left arm bone. Exhale, spin the thumb down, reach around, catch the front of that right hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. Breathe deeply. Inhale, maintain the twist. Stretch the arm bones back out. Exhale, come back to center and release down. You can do a few shoulder rolls, either forward or back, just finding any type of movement that feels good to your body. And then bring the shoulders back and down, lengthen through the spine. Find your dristi. And this time, take your strap and bring it over your right shoulder. So you want to have the strap to where it comes at least toward the base of the spine. Inhale, stretch your right arm up, get length through the right side body. Exhale, bend the elbow, reach the hand between the shoulders. You can hold your strap. Inhale, left arm goes up. Find that space in the left side body. And then catch the right elbow and then gently move it back and in toward that right ear. So working on finding a stretch now through the back of the right arm into the tricep muscles and working this right hand down between the shoulder blades. Just take a moment to bow and humble yourself if you've lost your core connection and your ribs are starting to jut forward, and see if you can knit those ribs back but then re-extend up through the breastbone, the throat, the crown. Inhale, left arm stretches up. Exhale, reach it out, spin the thumb down, and then reach up and try to catch that strap as close to the other hand as you can. So if there's a lot of tightness, maybe this is where your hand is, and that's okay. Over time, you can start to work the hands together to create a bind. But until then, just stay where you are. If you do just have the straps, now you can create more strength in this by gently feeling like you're pulling the hand down and then pull the right hand up, like you're pulling the arms in opposite directions. And then feel the strengthening and the muscle engagement that you're creating by using that push-pull action. You can do the same if you have the bind with the fingers too. You can Feel like you're drawing that left elbow in toward the earth and that right elbow upward toward the sky. So when we have a lot of tightness, it tends to like feel like it's pulling us forward. But if you can get that forearm back enough, you can use your head to push back into the forearm and get more extension. Slowly begin to release the left hand, that bottom arm down, and then the top arm releases. Take your strap over to the left side. Take a moment to just feel your sits bones and your posture. Find your drishti. Inhale, float your left arm up. As you exhale, bend the elbow, reach between the shoulders. You can catch your strap. Inhale, right arm rises. Exhale, right palm to left elbow. You're going to work at rooting that shoulder blade back and then drawing that arm bone in so you feel the stretch through the tricep muscles. Take a moment just to bow and humble yourself. Knit those ribs back again. And then keep that as you stretch back up through the neck and the head. Find your focus and breathe deeply into the stretch. Inhale, the right arm reaches up. Spin the thumb down, reach back, and see if you can catch the strap behind you. And then again, you can work at working the hands together, playing with that push-pull action of drawing the bottom hand down and pulling the top hand up. If you want to make the bind, you can make the bind and do the same thing. And you're just feeling, where do I need to adjust? Where do I need to back off? Where do I need to put a little more effort into or energy into something? And you're working on finding that balance here. Breathe deeply into the body, inhaling and exhaling. You'll slowly begin to release the bottom arm down, stretch the top arm up, and release it down. Go ahead and move your strap to the side. Before we go into the last stretch, let's just bring the fingertips to the shoulders and let's just do some shoulder circles here, just to create a little bit of movement and freedom in the body through the shoulders. So we're moving down, pulling the elbows in, up, and then spreading them out and down. Your inhale pulls in, up. Your exhale opens out and down. It's very important that you learn how to yoke your breath with your movements, because then it becomes way more efficient in what you're doing. All right, let's switch that direction. The arm bones, the elbows are out. You'll inhale, lift the arm bones up. Exhale, pull them in and down now. So just the opposite. And moving with breath so that you're really creating a synchronization of breath and movement together. This is part of the healing aspect of yoga. It's the prana force. It's that energy that provides the healing. Okay, last one. And then slowly release. Find your posture again. Find your focal point. Inhale, stretch your arms forward. As you exhale, cross the right elbow over the left. So make a big X with your arms. Spin your palms out, thumbs toward the sky, and then bring the thumbs back toward your face. If the left fingers can hold the right thumb without your wrist dumping and collapsing, then hold the thumb. You can make the bind. if this is what's happening and you can't straighten, then I want you to undo that bind. Press the backs of your hands together to create that dynamic tension so it feels like I'm working here. If this is still too much for you because you can't even get the hook of the elbows, then just hold that right elbow and gently bring it across. And until you can get more range to where you can hook that elbow. Lift the elbows if you can, or start to try to find where you can bring them up more in line with the shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Go to the back body, keep your breathing, and feel now what's happening with the shoulder blades. They should feel like they're moving away from the spine. So you're getting a nice stretch through the back body and more strengthening through the chest and the front body. You can also stretch your forearms away just to add a little bit more variation and lines of pull. And to come out of this, you're just going to release the hands. Inhale, stretch up. And exhale, release it down. Inhale, bring the arms back forward. Exhale, cross the left elbow over the right, making that X position. And then thumbs are up, bring them back towards your face, and then see if you can make the bind by holding the left thumb with the right hand. If that's too much, press the backs of the hands together. If that's still too much, then just use your opposite hand to bring this across the body. Try to lift the elbows up any amount that you can to bring them more in line with your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. If you want a little more, you can pull the forearms forward away from your face, feeling a little different sensation. To come out of this, slowly release the cross. Inhale, stretch your arms up, and exhale, release all the way back down again. Okay, let's come out of this seated hero's pose, because you have all been heroes today to stay seated in that posture. And if you had to come out of it, don't worry about it. This is how we build up to it. When it's like, okay, I can't sit here anymore, come out of it, take another seat, and then come back to it. Bring your palms down, walk your knees back a little bit, but then stretch that right leg back. You're gonna tuck the toes under and then push out through the back of the thigh, knee, and out through your right heel. You can push the earth away and pull back into that right leg and push more through that sole of that right foot. So just feeling like all that blood flow rushing back into those joints. And then slowly come back, bring your right knee to meet the left, and then stretch your left leg back. Keep the toe tucked under, and then really push the thigh and the knee up toward the sky. And then you can push the earth away, pull your hips back as you deepen into the leg a little bit more, feeling that length and strength, but yet feeling that freedom from that posture of hero's pose we were sitting in. And then from here, let's just open the knees wide, bring your two big toes to touch, and then release your seat toward your feet. And then stretch the arms forward. And if the forehead will go to the floor, bring the forehead to the floor. If it will not, this is where your block will help you be able to release. So I want you to make a connection with your head so it's not just hanging. So if you have tight shoulders and neck, your head may not go to the floor. And even with the hips too. So just finding where you are and meeting yourself there, whether you have to use a prop or not. so that you can feel integrated and connected. Okay, I'm pressing through my palms and my finger pads, but I'm floating my arm bones up. So I'm doing a little strengthening work here. Pull from your tips all the way through the arm bones back into your shoulder tips. So it feels like you're going to suck that mat up into your hand, but you actually feel the triceps, the muscles that we just stretched in Gomukhasana, cow face pose. You feel those muscles lifting up into the arm bones. And then you feel your shoulder blades deepening in toward the spine. And see if you can feel an energy line or a sensation as you pull with your fingertips. Can you feel that move all the way back into your shoulder tips? Inhale, lift your head up. Take your right palm, slide it under the left side. Release your right shoulder and head down. If this is difficult, you can always put a blanket to bring some height up so that you can release into that blanket. Press through the back of the right arm and palm and then push down and forward into that left palm and keep this left arm lifting up toward the sky. Take slow, deep inhalations and exhalations here. Now keep your right arm where it is. Take that left arm and inhale, pull it up toward the sky. As you exhale, spin the thumb down and then reach back toward the right hip or maybe to the right inner thigh. And then open up that left shoulder. So it wants to dump toward the floor. So I want you to think about from the breastbone, you're drawing the collarbone back, the head of that arm bone back, and you're pulling that left shoulder blade in toward the spine. Breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, stretch your left arm back up. Exhale, bring it to the front of the mat. Press into the left palm. Inhale, pull the right arm out. Exhale, stretch it forward. So we'll just do that same sequence on the left arm. You're going to turn your left palm up, slide it through. Release the left shoulder and the temporal lobe right above the ear onto the mat. If this is causing you to cringe in your neck or create tension, bring a blanket under you so you bring the floor to you. And then you're going to press into your right palm, lift your right arm bone up. So really feel the triceps lifting into the upper arm bone. And then push through the back of the left arm bone and deepen into that upper thoracic rotation. On your next inhale, take your right arm up toward the sky, spin the thumb down, and then reach toward that left hip or maybe toward that left inner thigh. And then work on, you have to pull that collarbone and the head of that arm bone up and back to deepen that shoulder blade in toward the spine. On your next inhale, stretch your right arm up toward the sky. Exhale, bring it back to the front of your mat. Push down into the right palm and bring the left hand through and stretch it back to the front. Inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Exhale, push up onto the hands and knees. Bring your knees back underneath your hip bones. Keep your hips over your knees here. And then we're going to move into a big stretch. You're going to walk your hands forward, moving toward, they call this puppy pose. You're going to start to release the chin or the forehead, but your melting the chest down toward the earth, deepening into that stretch. If that is too much and you're not still able to get your head down, then this is where the block comes in handy. You can just rest your forehead on the block and then work on melting your heart toward the earth here. So if you're feeling too much tension in your neck and shoulders on this one, then add that prop to it. Add that block to it. Breathe deeply into the body, feeling the deepening of the stretch. On your next inhale, push into your hands, pull your torso up, and exhale, walk your hands back. We're going to just release onto our seat, coming into a comfortable cross-legged seated posture here. Find your sits bones. You can join the index and the thumb together. Let your palms face upward so that you're just sealing in that circuitry of energy you've created in this practice today. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, sit tall. As you exhale, turn your head to the far right and just feel, is there any difference through the neck down into your shoulder? Inhale, bring your chin back to center in line with the breastbone. Exhale, turn on its axis to the far left. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, release. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this practice to release tension in the neck and shoulders. May the weight of the world be lifted off of you. May you feel a sense of more peace and ease inside of you. And may I see you again soon for our next practice. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.